are tuned in to the Way of Healing podcast, where we inspire humans to connect more deeply to their experience of life.
My name is OJ.
My name is Casey.
We are connecting with practitioners to talk about the potential of the innate healing powers within. Welcome back to another episode on the Way of Healing. What's up? OJ here.
Hey, it's Case.
And we have a very special guest, Dr. Harold Turk. Welcome, Doc.
Thank you, guys. Oh my God, I'm losing my voice.
It'll come back.
Probably not good for a podcast.
Yeah, we've been here for an hour already, and Doc was working on Casey a little bit, gave her a little taste of the Maori body work that he does. How you feeling?
It was a taste, for sure. For a morning, it was a strong cup of coffee in a very good way. I came in limping because of a foot injury yesterday.
Dog toe.
Right.
Dog toe.
Dog toe. Yes.
Official
dog toe.
diagnosis.
And got on the table face down, and he started pressing, and deep, very penetrative, right? So it's like deep work. I can't win with these two this morning. Guys, help me. Send Mayday, Mayday. Anyway, the point is I got off the table and my fucking toe is better. I'm wiggling it. I walked in gimpy.
You didn't touch your toe, did
And he didn't even touch my toe.
you? No.
So yeah, maybe we should talk about that.
Yeah, so Doc works in his own apartment, yeah?
Yeah.
His own private practice
It's beautiful.
here. It's so clean in here. It's like
It's
impeccably clean.
sparkling.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, out here in Tarzana.
Yeah.
We're not sterile.
Wait, are we in Tarzana? Or are we
Yeah,
in
we're-
Encino?
Tarzana.
Tarzana.
Tarzana Encino.
You are. It's Tarzan in Tarzana. Sorry, I'm
In
sure
the
you've heard
valley.
that so many times. Beautiful patio full of plants, and then you walk in, and it's a very zen room, very chill, nice
Mhm.
space in here.
Comfy, easy.
Easy. So, Doc, you're a chiropractor. You also do Maori healing. You do some coaching as well. Tell us a little bit about your journey into getting into healing work.
Oh boy. That's a loaded question. We'll have to break that down into parts.
Everybody gets that question. Yeah, and feel free to take it in parts. That's fine.
Well, you'll have to ask me specific questions, but what I do, yes, I'm a chiropractor by degree. That's my formal education. Most people pretty much know what that is, especially in LA.
Mhm.
Um,
And you grew born, raised in LA, and you
Born
also
and
went to
raised in-
school in
Yep.
LA?
Cleveland Chiropractic College. It was in like Hollywood, LA area. Was there for years. It was a very prominent school in the profession, but it closed down maybe like 4 years ago. It was a bummer, but so I went there, became a chiropractor, graduated in like 96, licensed in 98. I do Maori healing body work. For those that don't know, Maori people are indigenous to New Zealand. They're big brown people. They're related to Hawaiians.
That's how
Kind of
actually-
like OJ.
Yeah, kind of.
He's a brown person.
I'm not. I'm
He's
tiny,
pretty
though.
big. He's not Maori big. Yeah.
That's how I actually met Doc. My wife and I went to a healing.
Yeah, so I host them. When they come to LA, I host the Maori,
Mhm.
and OJ and his beautiful wife, Janae, came to see them as well for sessions. So host meaning that I set up clients, I charge them, I find the venue, they show up, and they work on all my friends, my family, and my clients.
How many times a year do they come every year?
So great question. So it used to be a couple times a year. It's still pretty much a couple times a year. One of my, I don't think, OJ, I don't think you know, but one of my teachers, Ata, one of the Maori, the main lady, her right-hand man, Manu, he died a little over a year ago. So there used to be more Maori traveling, so there's less. So they've been traveling a little less and spending more time at home. So yeah, you and your lovely wife came, met your girls. They're adorable. And so Maori healing work is indigenous to their culture. I'll shrink it down, but basically it looks and feels like a deep tissue massage, kind of like a sports massage. And the idea being that by receiving body work, it helps you connect to your emotional self. So normally you get body work that might not occur where you're going to connect your physical body with your emotional body or your energetic body. So It might be on the more mechanical side. Maori healing work, its primary purpose is to bridge that gap and make that connection. So you can feel the relatedness of the two worlds,
Mhm.
your emotional, mental, emotional, and energetic world with your physical body. And so it's kind of like a therapy through massage. So it's doing sort of talk therapy backwards. So instead of talking to reach someone's emotions and conversation, this is doing massage to reach someone's emotions. And so, depending on how deep, and it could be extremely deep, it could be less deep, just depending on the person.
On a scale of whatever you want,
That
how deep would come on? How deep was the work that you just gave me?
I like, point 0.5,
Out of 1.
point what out of 10.
You should see her
Goy?
face.
Yeah,
Come on.
that's a so yeah, so
It was deep, folks. It felt like a 7.5 out of 10.
okay. Well, I guess yeah, you can scare your audience. It's fine. It's not it's actually a good point. It's for everybody. It's very healing. It's very healthy for everybody. Everybody's going to feel the same way when they receive this work. So I've had hundreds of sessions, but I'll feel the same way you do, even though that was your first taste of it. I'll feel challenged, and they work really deeply on me. But we'll have the same experience. I'll go, oh my God, that was intense.
Yeah, I believe that for
So,
sure. And
so,
everybody's intensity is different.
right.
Different days, it's different. So,
So the idea being that, some people have stored trauma in their body, all kinds of trauma. You name the category. And there's old memories trapped inside those injuries or those wounds, and it's stuck in your body. So the work needs to be skilled in a way or deep enough to get into those areas and open up those pockets of emotions that are jammed inside of joints.
things that may never have been opened before,
Correct.
right? I mean, he did put some fingers on my jaw, right? Just below where my mandible attaches, and I have never felt work like that, right? I don't think my jaw has ever been manipulated in that way. Manipulated is maybe too strong a word, but,
Pressed.
pressed. Yeah, moved, pressed. Are there different areas of the body that map to different emotions? Like if somebody's like, right?
Yeah, I
Is
mean,
that
so
part
that's
of the
that's East,
belief?
right? That's Eastern philosophy. You could read that in all kinds of texts and all kinds of books.
I mean, specifically in the Maori healing.
It makes no difference. The philosophy is the philosophy. The Maori, they don't. I've never really seen them, use pictures or show people where emotions are stored in the body. Their premise, and so me too, is you work on people and then you start to see what naturally comes out, whether it's anger, whether it's resentment, whether it's grief, or even people laughing hysterically. You just start to see what, and then they start talking about or sharing certain subjects or people, their mother, their father, or boyfriends in the past. You work on people and you innately see what the conversation becomes, what the room feels like, or people's emotions. So that's the way I've been trained. That's the way I go about it. But you can, read all kinds of books and texts where, you know, this is where you carry burden, this is where you carry helplessness, the low back or the hips, you know. So that's the body work for all intents and purposes. It has a physical healing approach, it has a mental emotional approach. It's used as a therapy. So I do that. So chiropractic work, I do the Maori healing body work, and I also talk with people. I'm not a psychic. I don't see things, but it's more auditory. So when people talk with me, I can hear where things are stuck emotionally and energetically. I can hear it in the tone of their voice. And just how I'm naturally skilled is I could see exactly how that relates to their every area of their physical life. So their physical body, their health, their craft, their career, money, relationships. Just I'm naturally good at making that connection between both worlds. So people come for that kind of consulting or coaching or advice. They want a perspective that they haven't received from other practitioners, whether it's a therapist, massage therapist, chiropractors. And the reason why people are coming into my house is they're wanting that connection, as I'm equally strong in physical healing as I am in emotional healing. So those are my three main skill sets. So I'll talk with people more one day, or I'll physically work on them more one day, and then I'll kind of switch off. So I'll work on somebody, and then the next time they come in, we'll talk about it and debrief.
So is it
And
more honoring just what comes up? Right? There isn't like, oh, today you're going to come get chiropractic work, and the next day you're coming to get body work.
And the
Mm.
next day we're gonna talk.
Yeah.
I mean, every client's different and the needs change.
Mhm.
And plus I mean, they've never had work like this, so I kind of need to start with them, and then they start to awaken, and they're like, "Oh, well, I want to do this,"
Yeah.
and so that's how it begins. So that's primarily that's what my practice looks like. It doesn't look like a chiropractic practice, as you guys, I don't know, maybe can tell. Looks more like a therapy. People come to my home. I see them between an hour, hour and a half.
Right. Whereas a chiropractic is typically much shorter. Like a chiropractic. Yeah.
Exams, X-rays, adjustments, you know, whatever their specialty is. But this is mine,
Yeah. Out of
so
curiosity,
that's what I do.
how far into your chiropractic career did you go before you started incorporating this
Other work.
other work?
So, by the way, for you guys and the audience, this kind of therapy is what worked for me.
Mm.
So, and then I'll get into that. But this is my therapy, both mentally, emotionally, and physically. I needed this work. I've never been to a regular therapist. And when I was younger, about 29, I fell into the lap of this woman. Now, that doesn't sound right, but take it how you like, audience, whatever. A buddy of mine, Jeff, he actually referred me to this lady that he went to who did this therapy, much like I do. And so I was around 29 when
Were
I
you a
got,
chiropractor at this point?
yeah, I was a
Uh-huh.
chiropractor. And, you know, I was going through a lot of anxiety and shit was hitting the fan in my life. And I just had this cathartic moment. I had met this woman before at this buddy Jeff's birthday party. And I didn't think anything of it, but one day I had a little anxiety attack in my chiropractic office, and I had this idea. I'm like, "Oh, you need to go see that woman. She should teach you what she does, and you should go get work done." And so I call my buddy Jeff, like that moment, and he's laughing on the other end. I'm like, "Why are you laughing? I'm having an anxiety attack. I'm freaking out." And he's like, "I've been telling you about you for a year. That I have this crazy chiropractor friend Harold who should learn from you. He's just nutty enough to learn this work." I'm like, "Whatever, Jeff, just give me your number." So I went to go see her the following day. So I was 29 when I started this journey in this other direction. I'm a very sensitive person, like hypersensitive, but being able to express myself emotionally was not my strength. So I'm more of an athlete by nature. I handle everything with my physical body, whether it's sports or fighting, but I was not very good at communicating my feelings. So when I started to go see this woman, I realized that was my passion. Even though it was my weakness, mental and emotional healing, it was my passion. So I'm very good at physical healing, but it's not my passion. My passion is how the two come together. So when I was 29, that was a longer answer.
Yeah, very cool. Did you know right away when you started doing this? It's like I gotta start incorporating this into my work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I kind of said just a moment ago, it was kind of a cathartic moment. Like I knew, I mean, this was kind of like an aha moment on steroids. Like it was very succinct. This is what you should do. And I knew it right away. So I went to go see her. She worked out of her home. She had a guest office outside of her home. I remember certain parts of the session, but I do remember the jaw work. So she was working on my back. Casey's giving me a look. Too bad that's not video, everybody.
They'll
Uh,
be they'll be
it's coming.
yeah. We'll do a 2.0 of this.
So I don't remember working on my back. Well, so she asked me very basic questions like, was I happy? Did I like my partnership, my business partnership at the time? Did I like what I did for a living? And I was just like a little befuddled. I was like, these are very simple questions I could not answer. So I remember that part. And then when I jump up on the table, I remember toward the end, she flipped me over and she started to work on my jaw. So I worked on Casey just for a moment, but she worked on, and she had asked me, she's like, "Harold, what if this should really hurt? And maybe you'll cry and scream." I'm like, "Yeah, it's not a problem." Well, she flipped me over and she's like a few inches from my face and she's putting her thumbs into my jaw and she's really getting in there, Casey. And this woman's like a few inches from my face and I was enraged. I just wanted to scream, but I couldn't. I couldn't do it. And so after the session was over, I'm walking outside of her treatment room and I'm walking down her driveway and I looked back and I go, I was thinking, something's off. Like I should have been able to scream and cry, but I couldn't. I was jammed up. I just couldn't do it. And I was like, there's something healing in that for me. So I looked back and I said to her, so I'll see you next week. She said, yep, same time. See you there. I'm like, so I went to go see her every week for the next 5 years.
Whoa.
Yeah. And religiously. And so from that day forward, it was just obvious.
Hmm.
She was a hydrant, just spewing information and working on me and crying and laughing and getting angry and bringing up all kinds of things that I never knew what was going on in my body. And I loved it. You know, I needed that combination therapy of talking to me and physically, that physicality.
Mhm.
Athlete by nature, I needed something physical. Well, that was. She was not Maori. My first teacher was a very thin white woman, not like no muscles, but she was intense as it got.
Was she there?
No, she was not. She retired. So she trained me for about 5 years and worked on me. And she retired in 2007, like cold turkey. She was done.
Was this in LA?
Yeah.
Where was she located?
Yeah. She was like based in like Malibu
And oh, right.
area.
And you said
Yeah.
she worked out of her home.
Yeah. And so I started when I was 29. And then I don't know, what, 5 or 6 years?
Mhm.
Every week. That's super impressive. I mean, spiritual healing or just healing in general is religious, right? You were like, I went to her religiously. And I'm thinking, yeah, well, the healing, it draws you in. It draws, right? If you find something, you found stuff in me. I'm glad that you actually, it sort of gave me the permission because there was a part of me that was like, this is deep work and I'm receiving this jaw work. And I almost did come to tears. It was for sure I could have, right? If we had stayed working. And then you found some stuff in my sternum too and my ribs. And it was really tender in there. But yeah, a lot of emotion that we keep in and we don't even acknowledge that we have it until we don't even know that we have it until someone touches it. And then you're like, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. It's true. What do they say, OJ? Like it's you don't know what you don't know,
Right.
right?
Blind spots.
And there's, you start getting worked on in a physical way where you just start remembering things that you thought were gone. You're like, oh, they're not gone.
Or that you are remembering for the first time.
Yep. Something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
Did you go to New Zealand to train?
So she retired in 2007. And for about a year, I was okay. And then one day I was like, I need someone to work on me.
Were you doing this work?
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
you had
So,
started incorporating it?
So for about a year, I wasn't getting worked on. Then I was like kind of jonesing. And I was like, well, now what? I mean, I've gotten this amazing body work that's, like the Ferrari of body work. And now what? Like, I'm going to go get a $39 massage.
No.
And I was a little like,
we
what
would
would you
not
say?
advocate for that on this show,
Yeah.
Harold.
Don't go to the foot massage places either.
It's fine, it's all good. But I was not arrogant. I don't know the word, but a little snobbery. But I was like, I'm not. I've been having this Ferrari experience. What am I going to do now? So I have a kind of mentor. He doesn't do physical work. He more like a talk therapy, and he's been a guy in my life who kind of is my mentor that I go and see for feedback and reflection on, and for all sorts of things in my life. So I went to go see him for the first time, like, I don't know, 15 years ago. He's like, oh, Harold, what do you do for a living? And so I told him everything I told the audience, you guys. And he's like, oh, you do Maori healing body work. That's intense. He's like, that's where they like put their elbows in your butt and they step on your legs and all that kind of stuff.
That all happened to me, folks.
And I never heard the word before. I've never heard of Maori healing body work. I'm like, what? And so I raced home and I get on YouTube. This is years ago, everybody. This is 15 years ago. So I went onto YouTube. There was only one little video on Maori healing. And it was this, I could show it to you guys, but it was this really well done trailer. Almost looked like a, what do you call it? A documentary trailer of these indigenous people. It was well done. And showed these people doing this work and some clients being interviewed and music and indigenous. And And so I saw the woman who posted it and I wrote to her. She just happened to be in Woodland Hills, Calabasas, which is like 5 minutes
Whoa.
from me. So I wrote her. She's like, "Yeah, you want to meet for coffee? You can ask me whatever you want." So I did. And she's like, Harold, they'll be in LA next week. They'll be in Topanga. So I went to this really nice property, this house in the top of Topanga, and it had like, two or three guest houses, and one of them had people going in and out all day. So picture this. I walk into this room and there's four Maori practitioners. Some are on the floor working kind of like Thai style, and some are on massage tables. And so there's four people on tables, four practitioners, four people just got off tables, and four people waiting to go on. And then there's like, kids walking around,
Yeah.
Athena,
Can you
Troy's
talk
daughters,
about
like
that
just
real quick? Like,
what
I read my kids with me there in a traditional massage
environment?
environment. Like, it's quiet, kids aren't really allowed. And it was so cool because my kids were doing their thing, they were playing, and everyone was like, no, it's fine.
I
It's
was playing with
the
them.
kids,
They
yeah,
were great.
the kids are fine. And it's the Maori culture, it's all about family and community and that type of environment where I was like, yeah, I don't have to worry about my kids. I can just relax and everyone here is taking care of everyone. That type of community it was it was refreshing.
That's how
Right?
we're all supposed to be living like that, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's interesting, Casey. It's interesting you said that. That's exactly it, OJ. So my first teacher that I was talking about earlier, she did it one on one, much like kind of like a therapist or a therapy. It was one on one strictly. So I walk into this room with all this going on,
Right, got it. And it was
and
like a
my
shock for
eyes are
you.
kind of bulgy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, whoa. And so Maori actually, I've never seen them work one on one with people. They actually, I don't think they ever do it.
Are
I've
there
never.
multiple, or is there like two practitioners on one body? Or it's generally
It
one to one,
generally, but
but it's in
they
an
will
open
do
space.
two practitioners to one person. They will switch based on technique.
Mm-hmm.
I think
In their language,
I think Janae had two people working on it. They switched off.
they
Uh-huh.
will talk with one another about what's going on with this person and what someone should do.
Mm-hmm.
They
Um,
crack jokes.
so they'll crack jokes, appropriate ones, inappropriate ones. They'll be,
Sounds familiar.
my old teacher Manu, who died last year. He used to play the guitar. He used to sing songs. He used to sit on people while he's playing the guitar. He's very heavy.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, I loved it. It was very grounding for me. Some people had panic attacks. It was very grounding. I loved it. But he used to play guitar. So it's this community atmosphere. I don't think the Maori ever do one-on-one healing, but that's their way. It's very community like.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah, that in itself is healing, right? Having that
the
community
community.
aspect.
Yeah, you're just whatever you have going on, whether it's like rage and anger and resentment or grief, it's absorbed by the whole room and all these
Mm-hmm.
practitioners rather than the responsibility of one person to contain that space.
Right.
And with the work, it's a lot of intense energy, so it's a family style.
Yeah, and there's no shame, right?
That's what's beautiful, right? It dissipates the energy and everybody experiences it and everybody sees that everyone else experiences it. So you don't keep it in.
And it's really important for the kids too to see grown adults experiencing these things, right? Like it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel, it's okay to express anger in that way instead of holding it all in and letting that shit get trapped.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Especially like some of the Maoris kids. Yeah, they're so used to it. I
Mhm.
mean, cussing
Yeah.
and crying. They're like, oh yeah, it's all in a day. And so yeah, Atta, the main lady, the main Maori woman, she for those that know the Maori, she's the main woman that heads up this group that travels around the world. So they travel around the States and they travel around Europe, which is very rare because a lot of Maori culture, they stay in New Zealand. But this one core group has been known to travel the world doing this type of work. So she asked me, she goes, "Oh, Harold, are you familiar with this type of work? Are you used to do like really intense work?" I said, "Yeah, go ahead, whatever you need to do." So she put me with Terrence, her son, and it was very so my original teacher was taught by her teacher for about 30 years.
And was it Maori healing? She just never called it
So
that?
she
Or
She just told me her teacher had since my first teacher, her teacher had passed, and she had said, "This is just an amalgam of body work that Robert, her teacher, taught her, and now I'm teaching you." That's all I knew. So I'm at the Maori. Terrence, Atta's son, started working on me, and it was very, very similar, except the technique was a little different, but the effect was the same. It was intense. It evoked your emotions. It worked on the physical body, but they use a lot more leverage. So they're standing on you. They're using elbows. They're not like massage people. It's very tough work to work with the hands only. They used a lot of leverage. And so that was cool because that was going to save my body and my career. I recommend that to anybody who wants to learn body work that's going to save them, use leverage.
Yeah.
And so he worked on me. It was super intense. And I just remember kind of rolling off the mat and scooting up against the wall. And I'm like, son of a bitch, these are my people. This is where my work comes from. This is what that mentor of mine said. I said, these are my people. And so I just remember, going up to Atta or something is like, you guys need help? Like, can I hold people's hands and like kind of coach them through letting out their emotions while they're getting worked on? Because like Maori they won't necessarily cheerlead you to like let it out. They'll just kind of
you-
leave it up to you to find your way.
Squeeze it out.
So I became kind of the cheerleader, like, come on, Casey, it's okay. You can scream. They're used to it.
Which we need in this culture, right?
Yeah,
Maori
you need
culture,
permission.
Yes, totally.
Yes. So I hung out the rest of that day after I got worked on. I would hold people's hands. They would like squeeze it as hard as they could,
Like
or
they're giving birth.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
something like that. And it was almost like any relationship where you have a connection or it's just obvious. Oh yeah, you're my people. Oh yeah, you're our people. So I just kept going back.
Yeah.
So every time they came into Topanga, I would show up. I would get worked on all the time, and I would start to learn from them. So now more learning.
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever been to New Zealand?
So I went to New Zealand 4 years ago. The Maori put on their very first body healing, cultural body healing workshop. They call it Tarangopai. And it was the very first time they put it on. And it was like, I don't even remember how many people, 50 people from all over went to New Zealand, and we slept Marai style in a room, bed to bed, like sleepover camp or something. And we learned, bodywork techniques, Maori culture, and, all kinds of things.
Did
And that
you
was,
see your people there? Were they putting, well, like, was this Atta's group doing this?
this is her group.
Okay,
Exactly.
got it.
And
Tarango pie.
yeah, that's what they call it, Tarangopai.
I love pie.
I do too. Gotcha.
Specifically what kind?
Tarango.
Pie.
Yeah. Peach?
Peach?
Peach pie.
I'm a key lime kind of person.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
Harold, what's your pie preference?
What'd you say? He's key lime, you're what?
Peach.
Don't worry about what I am. What are
No,
you?
I forgot.
You forgot.
I don't eat a lot of.
You're
that
strawberry.
sounds terrible.
Strawberry rhubarb.
No,
No. Oh.
like
Pecan?
peach.
Uh huh.
Oh, pumpkin.
Oh,
Pumpkin.
pumpkin
I like
pie
me
is
some
great.
I didn't like it at first when I was younger, but as I got older, I started to like it.
Your
That
pill-
happens with certain things. I've
Yeah.
noticed.
Your
with me too.
pillows look like pumpkin pie. That's how much you love pumpkin pie.
Bright orange people.
Like me some apple and some pumpkin pie.
Yeah, I like apple too.
Mm-hmm. Apple. Ooh.
Cinnamon everything. Mhm.
Yeah.
There you have it.
So, with your chiropractic work, have you found that it complements the body work and vice versa?
Yeah.
Do you
I'd say-
always integrate? Like, is there anybody that you strictly do chiropractic with?
No, not at this point.
Right.
I mean, there was a lot of transitioning throughout the years, and that was a lot of kind of integration kind of work. But at this point, no. My clients receive chiropractic work, but it's in combination with something else, especially the body work.
Yeah.
Do I have clients that might drop in for a quick adjustment? Yeah. It's seldom, but they do. the combination of this kind of body work and the chiropractic work seems to hold adjustments on a deeper level for a lot longer. So that's kind of a cool effect of the work.
Yeah.
But just, I used to see a lot of adjustments, 20, 30 people in a day or whatever it was for adjustments and x-rays and things like that. Oh, there's chiropractors who see a lot more. And it's great work. There's a whole lot of philosophy and training around that kind of work, but I just wasn't interested. I really love the mental emotional aspect of it, and I like the body work as a vehicle to reach that area. So that was that. I mean,
Mhm.
I got worked on, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah. We the clinic I used to work at, we also had a chiropractor on staff pretty much the whole time. And so we would do the deeper work and then we would have the chiropractic work and then we would sometimes switch off back and forth. But same thing, we found that the adjustments tended to stick a lot longer because we released some of the tension patterns and some
The
of the
holding
emotion.
patterns.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
totally.
great.
Totally.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's important. Or, oh, Casey, were you going to say something?
No, I'm in a zone thinking about my jaw. Actually, that's where I just was.
What are you thinking?
I'm wondering if it's kind of funny actually. I'm wondering if I'm gonna walk around for the rest of my life with my jaw open a little bit, like just trying to
To
stay
have no
soft. Yeah,
tension.
no tension.
Oh my God.
Like open, soft.
It's going to be super awkward.
I won't be able to eat my pie. It'll be a disaster.
No, 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 no. What I was going to say.
I did have something. No, OJ was just
Saying what's
giving me the eyes that like, yeah, if you want to go, you can go. But I didn't have anything, and now.
Did you want to talk a little bit about the jaw work and the importance of the jaw and why people clench and grind a little bit?
Why did you go into my jaw? What
My,
did you see? You saw it. Could you see?
it's not. It wasn't. It actually. It's not that intelligent. It was.
You were talking too much.
I know. I was. We arrived, and I was like, my foot, my foot, my foot.
Someone needs to shut this chick up.
Ouch. Whoa.
No,
Camera cut to
not
Casey
at all.
punching him out.
No. And for those listening, I just met Casey
Que
today.
bruto.
What?
How
I'm a
rude.
brute?
You're rude.
Oh, rude.
Yeah.
That too. I just met Casey. I've met OJ before. He knows Maori healing work. I could explain it for days, but it's an entirely different thing when you can feel just a little bit of the technique. And then right away, you're like, oh, okay. That's what it is. So if I just say deep tissue or sports massage, okay.
Yeah.
That would mean something to me, but yeah, absolutely different to feel it,
Mhm.
especially to feel it in my body at this moment in time, right? The session with Harold this morning would be different than the session with Harold next week or, 3 weeks ago or
Yeah. I just wanted to. So before we started the podcast, I had Casey jump up on the table. I just wanted to have her feel just a couple of moves, just to get an idea of it. And so I just was randomly kind of milling about, and I landed on your jaw, which I typically would not do with regular clients.
and you said as much, yeah. Like,
Yeah, that's really intense work. People who clinch and grind, that's very intense work. That's an intense area of the body. I wouldn't do that on a first session. I mean, it'd be super rare because it's going to evoke a lot of emotion. It's just an area of the body where people hold trap a lot of emotion, a lot of
everything that doesn't get said, right? That
that
could
too.
almost come out but doesn't come out has to land somewhere.
It
Mm.
sits in your jaw, and so I got in there a little bit, but it was just random, but fun.
Nothing is random, Harold. Hello.
Oh man.
Oh man, done for. I do some jaw work too, and with craniosacral, and I'll do intraoral work sometimes.
What a great word.
Intraoral. Help me, please. Somebody save me.
Oh yeah, because
yeah,
it's me.
because I'm.
It's me,
I'm
everybody.
completely innocent. Man, I had a great question for you somewhere
Too
in
much
the
pressure.
recesses. More jaw work needed. I
Yeah.
don't know.
What's your intake and assessment look like?
Ah, that's a good question.
Yeah. Is it more on the chiropractic? Like I watch people walk. What are you?
Less and less like that over the years. It depends on the referral of the client. It
Mhm.
depends on so the intake starts with sort of a little paperwork. So I want to see what they're coming in for.
Any emotional components on the paperwork?
Yeah. So
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
I'll I'll
Such
ask
as,
them.
yeah.
I'll ask them. They'll have spaces for like 4 priorities that they want healing on, and it could be anything from physical pain, emotional pain, lost in their life, relationship issues. It really
Money, career, I see.
money, career could be any of it. And so am I checking someone's gate when they're coming in for like career sort of they're something stuck inside of them because of some with their career? Um, Probably not, but the intake could look different with everybody because of the talking consulting component of what I do. I want to start talking with people. And in the tone of their voice, like I was saying before, I can hear where things are stuck on an emotional, energetic level. So that already is starting my diagnosis or my consultation.
Mhm.
So I'll be talking with them, and even it could be about anything, but the way that they're talking is telling me a lot. And then so, I'll do some palpation on their spine if they got some spinal issues, just some simple movements to kind of get an idea before they jump up on the table. But it's less like a chiropractic exam.
Yeah.
I'll get the basic idea. I mean, if they're coming in for some really intricate, like low back issues that their chiropractor's not helping them with, then I'm going to dig in a little deeper in a certain way to, do an exam.
Yeah. And do you tend to see people that are looking for these other things in their life that need healing? Or like, do you have people come to you that are just like, I just need good body work? Or are people more like, I have this going on, this going on. I know you're the guy.
Yeah, they're not coming in for some general body work when they come see me. It's referral only. My clients, they know about me through their friends, of how I kind of fit into their friends' lives and why they're coming to see me. So there's conversation there leading up to them, a friend coming to see me. So they're not just coming in for some general work. There's a specific reason that they're wanting to come to see me.
Hmm. I like that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I think one of the struggles in my journey right now is wanting to do the deeper work, but still having people come to me that are just like, I just need body work, which isn't wrong and it's not a bad thing. But
Deeper meaning you want to incorporate talking, like
I mean,
an emotional.
I do, I
Or
do
pushing them in a
incorporate it,
physical way.
right? And more the energetic too. A lot of people are still looking for just body work without wanting to delve deeper into the deeper healing.
Yeah, that was my question.
Mhm.
So you're right there now. How long have you been in that place, OJ?
Ooh,
Tables have turned.
tables have turned.
Phew.
Hey,
Better sit up
No,
straight.
fellow
interv-
body workers
interview
talking
on.
about our journey and what we do.
I've been doing body work for 4 years now.
And he was a yoga practitioner, yoga teacher before
Yeah.
that. And there's a
I mean,
lot
it
of
was,
lead up to body work in that.
there is, but also it was,
Well, how long have you been in the place where you've wanted to take it to a deeper level?
ooh, that's a good
That
question.
was my question.
Recent. I would say within the last year,
6 months.
little longer.
When did you go see the Maori? When were you there?
When was I there?
February? I don't even.
I
My
don't know.
God.
Hey, check your picture. You can check the tag on it.
Oh, good point.
Is that the last time they were here?
Well, that was the last time.
February. So it must have been
How
that.
did you know?
I know things. Nothing is random, Harold.
So yeah, it's been a thing.
Since then?
No, it was
That wouldn't be surprising,
it
by
was
the way.
before then.
Oh yeah, I can see that I could see this work bringing up anything that's inside that has been dormant,
Right.
right? I
Right.
mean, I
Oh, February 18th.
Oh.
know.
Hey.
Yeah, what?
I
Mm.
was just February. So February, March, April, May, June, July.
When did we start this podcast?
February.
Wow. Could have been. But yeah, I used to work at a personal training gym, and I still work there every once in a while. But people would just come because it was like, oh, I had a hard workout. Let me, you know.
But that's the audience that you attract in a gym setting, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
And it is a delicate thing for some people to open up a psychic component or a spiritual component or a psychological or emotional component to themselves when they're coming in for a massage.
Right.
Right.
And also that type of environment I feel isn't conducive to
From a
letting
gym.
go of
Right.
deeper things, right?
Yep.
Even for us body workers, there's like it's like not everybody is aware that they can go down that path and that it's safe.
Mm-hmm.
There's like so much
Oh,
that
with the
we are
client?
holding back. People, just
People in
people in
general.
general.
All right.
And then even among the people who go into healing work like body work, even within that realm, it's like, so that's already like 10% of the population. And then I'm not making my point and I'm
No,
perfectly okay with it.
actually, I kind of like it that you're struggling to make your point. It's a good subject. I was asking OJ because I know my journey through that pivot.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. And what's interesting too, when I came in there and received the work, it was very familiar to me. You received Joe's work a little bit, and it was
Yeah.
it
The
was
glute digging. Yeah.
right, right. It was very similar kind of body work where there's like
Glute
not
digging and
really.
intraoral.
That's exactly what we did.
Down the drain. The way
Go
of
ahead.
healing is going down the
Go
drain
ahead, OJ.
today.
Try to keep going.
Where's your ring? Did you pick up
I
your
still
ring?
got it. It's on my thumb.
God, if your audience knew what this ring looked like.
What is this ring?
Okay,
Before
so
just
all right.
Slight pause, everybody.
Yes, the small tangent. I brought these things. They're called relaxo rings. Okay. Now, the ones that I've experienced that are wonderful that I bought as client gifts last year and I gave out are made of copper. And they are very resilient and they're a small ring, like a ring that you would wear on your finger. And you roll them up and down each finger for several minutes at a time. I'm closing my eyes right now because I can't even handle whatever is
What's going on with the boys?
Yes. So relaxo rings, they're great. They hit Chinese medicine points. They increase
Meridian
circulation.
points.
Yeah. Yeah. Meridians in all of the fingers because a lot of the meridians terminate in the hands. And
Kind of looks like a colorful caterpillar wrapped around your
it does.
finger.
It totally looks like a caterpillar. The nice
Or
ones
a
are all
tiny
copper
slinky.
though. They're all copper colored. Basically, I'm putting on a wellness event in a corporate office building. And so we're trying out different products because I'm going to raffle these off or, give them out or whatever. And so we just got an order in of these less expensive ones that are not copper. So I brought these out to test them. And the first one I put on my finger, it just like popped open and broke, like the spring just broke. And so these are not the best rings, but that's the ring that we're referring to, not OJ's wedding ring. It's this, these are probably stainless steel, I think.
It's also like a toroidal field.
It is a toroidal field. Groovy, baby.
No idea what a toroidal field is.
It's everything.
It's everything.
It's energy. It's the energy lines of the body that circulate and they come up and out through the center and down and around, up and out and down and around.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that word before in my life.
What day is it?
They like to use it in craniosacral, right?
Yeah, it's
That
in
word?
polarity. Toroidal. It's energy. It's based on energy. What's the word I'm missing? Like our planet has a toroidal field. It's electromagnetic. It's our body's electromagnetic field.
Yeah. But yeah, it pretty much goes up and around and it surrounds the whole body.
Those are that's the ring that.
So that's the
OJ
ring.
is
But back to
playing with.
OJ. Back to OJ wanting to deepen his work and make it.
And so when I experienced the Mario body work is very familiar because it was like, oh, this is what I'm doing already, right? Minus like the kids and everyone kind of just hanging out. But it was very similar and it was very familiar to me. And doing this podcast and learning more and more about like energetic work and the importance of letting go of like emotional baggage and whatnot. It's like I've been transitioning my practice more towards that. And so, what was I getting at?
Well, how are you feeling so far was my question. Like, how are your clients? Because you also went through a similar transition where you integrated new work into your, what maybe had been
chiropractic practice.
Strict like chiropractic.
Yeah.
So how are your clients so far, the ones that you've sort of,
they're very receptive to it.
put your toe in the water?
It's, I have great clients. I love you guys. Some of you guys listen to this podcast. But I am lucky enough to have had clients already that have been receptive to that. It was more so the ones that I was seeing that just wanted the physical. That not saying I felt like I had a gift. I had a really
And that you
gift.
couldn't offer it all up in one session to them.
I mean, I had a gift at helping people on the physical level, which is why I kept doing it. But at the same time, it's like I know there's more to that gift. I want, and I am starting to offer that a little more, right? With the healing clinic opening up in August.
What healing clinic?
I'm opening up a healing clinic with a couple of people. Joe, who was on the podcast,
Where is it going to be?
Santa Monica, Venice, somewhere on
Oh,
the west side.
cool. So like a couple. This guy Joe.
Joe's my original teacher. He's the one that taught me.
And then you, and then another practitioner.
Another chiropractor.
Oh, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Yeah, Luke Madison.
Oh no,
Yeah,
it's not my world anymore.
You don't know every chiropractor ever.
In a certain way, when I first started out, you kind of did.
He's from the East Coast.
You knew where people were in town, and you knew the style of practice.
Ah,
For sure. Yeah.
even in LA.
In LA.
Holy
Yeah,
moly.
yeah, yeah.
There's a chiropractor like every,
I know.
stone's throw,
I was like, oh,
spitting
Dr. So and
distance.
so is here. Dr. So and so is there. Oh, that's his area out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
Wow.
So yeah, that's changed.
Cool. Territorial chiropractors.
No, it was more like you knew who was where.
Yeah,
That was
totally.
it. So I like this subject
Yeah, I know.
that
I
you're
do
talking
too.
about with OJ.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
this-
am I next? He?
She wants it to be. You want to be next?
He's so mean to me.
It's love.
So yeah, it's a transition, and it was scary at first. It was when
I'll just be bold and just mess around, even if it's not true. I don't care. It's not surprising that after the body work, a lot of like the podcast started, and then this conversation that we're having now regarding you wanting to deepen your work. That's not surprising to me, especially with the Maori style body work. It has a catalytic way of beginning something that was already dormant.
Catalytic.
Well, fine.
Yeah. You're welcome. No extra charge. It's love.
Give and take.
It's like propulsive,
it
right?
has-
Or
These words that Casey uses just sidetrack me.
gateway.
Propulsive and intraoral and it has that effect. It has that effect. So deep body work like that, we have these dormant things inside of us that we're not, sometimes we're aware, sometimes we're not. It has this way of kind of bringing that more urgency or immediacy. So that's not surprising, but that's a great place to be where you're at, OJ.
Yeah. That's an interesting. It's
It's not surprising to me because it's not so arrogant for me to say it because I've seen it time and time again with this kind of a story where just by getting work done with no conversation, there's a therapeutic effect that sort of starts someone in a path that they were kind of dormant about, or career or relationship or whatever it is. So that's not surprising to me. And as far as like starting to do this deeper work, you got it. I mean, you'll lose some clients, but you'll start gaining new ones who want it. And I've been doing this a long time. That's constantly happening.
yeah.
a flow in and out.
I'll notice, afraid to do certain things with clients, and they might get a little scared or nervous and take time off and not come see me for a while. But then I'll get 3 new clients, and I'll go, and they really want more of the work you're talking about. I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
But in my work, and maybe in yours and you as well, Casey, I will always see it starting from me. So I make the leap of letting go of the worry of loss, whatever it is, money or a client or being liked or being thought of as good or crazy or whatever the term is. I let go. I work through that sort of emotional barrier, sticking point, and then I just do what I'm going to do with people, and they kind of work themselves in or out.
It's a good Instagram post.
Okay.
Thanks for that one. Extra points.
I was going to say something else about that, but I just got sidetracked.
Yeah.
I lost it.
I'm still trying to search for the question that I was going to ask you when OJ gave me the nod, and I thought about my jaw, but I did have a question. That hasn't
It's
come back
coming.
yet. Okay, cool. Thanks. So is yours. No, I mean that. No, that's sincerity. That was truly sincere. that happens in life. I'm noticing too. I'm also transitioning my work right now, and I had a thought yesterday morning, and I hadn't acted on it. I'm using that in air quotes because having a thought is, in essence, the very next step is action. So energetically, just having the thought, there is an action being taken. And then the thought that I was thinking came through the other person who texted me and said the exact thing that I was thinking about, which is this wellness event that we were planning for July has now been postponed without me asking for it to be postponed. But I had wanted it to be postponed because I was feeling a lot of anxiety around it. And it was like, wow, that my prayer in essence was just answered, right? So you're laying the groundwork now, and there's so much transition happening. OJ and I had a meeting last week, and we're looking to expand the Way of Healing podcast, and we're
Good
looking,
stuff coming.
yeah,
That's great.
you'll be way interested, Harold. So
So creepy. In the best way.
So there's so much. It's like I don't feel like I'm on stable ground right now. It feels a little bit.
Unstable?
It feels unstable because there's a lot shifting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shifting, and I have to trust. Man, it's hard for me right now. Like I live alone, and I don't have family really out here at all. And I'm like, I feel like I have to do it all myself. So I find that what that creates is this protective mechanism that I wear and I strengthen constantly. And I'm having to like let that go a little bit. Right. And this like gimpy foot thing that came up this morning is such an interesting opportunity to be like, oh, okay, I might have to like take a load off, or I might have to ask OJ for a favor, right? I might have to ask him to come pick me up or whatever it is.
Well, it also generated a connection with me. We just met.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your gimpy foot was kind of in the podcast, but we started talking.
No, right away I was getting out of the car and he came out to the curb to greet us.
You're
and
my people.
I stepped out and he
JC,
looked at me.
You're my people.
Cool.
You're nutty like me. You're not alone.
Obvi. Yeah, but I come from a background of being scared to reach out, right? Like that's, my family, whatever is passed down.
Independent.
Yeah, my mom said I was the little girl who would like fall down and I'd like be bloody and like I would still not want help, and I'd be like, I got it. Like I'm just like I was like a little bruiser kind of, right? So there's this sense of needing to take care of myself, and I'm realizing like, no, I can't. I actually don't want to. I'm kind of miserable doing it. And
Especially these days, that's a common pain. Disconnection, isolation. People are doing too much
individualism.
individually.
Hell yeah.
The need for community and connection is at an all-time high.
Agreed. 100%.
Anybody who's in the
just
healing
part of
arts,
why I feel even quasi safe sharing this on air is like I know I'm not the only one out there just like struggling and hustling, right? It's LA. I'm just hustling, man. It's like what's so funny?
not every day you're hustling.
Every day I'm
hustling.
hustling.
She's like, what the hell? It's a rap
Wouldn't
song.
be the first time. I know.
I know. Even myself, I work with clients all day. They come in and out of my home, but still, like the need for community and connection is huge for me too. I mean, I'm single, dating, but it's not easy. It's a deep thing for a lot of people these days. So what you're saying is like right in the vein of everything that I deal with all day long with everybody, including myself. But it's an exciting time creatively for you. That's what you were saying?
It is an exciting time. I say that sounded like I was hesitating tremendously.
Then why?
Because it's scary.
Now I'm psychoanalyzing everybody. No.
I'm fine. I'm hearing your Buffalo accent passed down from your family. It's wonderful. I've done that before. A girlfriend of mine from California who was raised in Georgia and Colorado, the first day I met her, I went, is one of your parents from New York? She's like, yeah, my dad's from New York. I could hear it in her accent the same way that I can you, despite the fact that you didn't grow up in New York. Is that a tangent again?
That's fine.
What I'm finding is that I am
What was your
now
hesitation?
in a place. Well, what I'm realizing for the first time in my life is that, yes, I have all of these different things that I could do. And I'm starting to like go, I can do that and I'm good at that, but I don't want to do that. And I'm like, right, like I'm a doula and I've said that, and
I didn't know that.
I know you. Well, we just met this morning.
Okay.
But
Why don't I know everything?
doula work, right? Like it's something that I do, but I'm not doing it as much, and I'm not sure that I want to keep doing it. Like I think that one I can let go, and right then there's other work that I do that I'm ready to let go of, so that I'm really finally paring down. It's always been an embarrassment of riches situation of like I was told that by a
Jack of
professor
all
once.
trades, master of none. That thing?
You calling me a dilettante?
I don't even know how to spell that, but what?
OJ, this is all your fault. So creatively, I'm realizing I'm learning how to pare down for the first time in my life. It only took 38 years, but it's like getting to that deeper dharma, that deeper purity, that something is driving me. My soul is talking, and it's asking me to listen, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, how much do you like this on a scale of 1 to 10? You can go down this path, or you can let that go. And then there are so many ways that you could take your work, right? And it really is going to be about tuning in to the voice of the universe or whatever it is that we're connecting with to guide us on a very specific level.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just getting more and more specific.
Yeah. Fine tuning
Like
It's
chiropractic wasn't it was a piece on your path that led you here, but it wasn't the final destination.
not by a
Is
long
there a
shot.
final destination?
Oh,
Okay, you two. Simmer down.
break it up. Break it up. Good thing you're in the middle. Is there a final destination? Yeah.
don't know.
Listeners, what do you think about that?
No, I mean, that's what OJ was talking about earlier, where he's at this phase now where he's looking to cross that line where he's going to start to integrate deeper work with his clientele. And he basically is letting go of the fear of losing some people. So he'll gain as well. And he'll just keep crossing that line in a deeper and deeper way.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how to say this. I was thinking of saying this before, but I was kind of saying it in the beginning where people don't even know that there's more available. So you'd have to do it. So
Right.
I don't know quite how to put it. And at the risk of sounding weird, I kind of just do it with people, whether they
Bow, chicka, bow, bow.
stop. Oh my God, Pete. I can't. I just can't. Serves me right for being so serious. Oh God.
Right. You do it and then you work.
My work is always in relationship to what people want. Even the depth of it, I'll always do it. I mean, that's what Maori healing work is. For as intense as it could be, they're always reading people. So they're I don't care if it's like excruciatingly deep. They're not doing it if your soul is not wanting it.
Mm.
And they're reading that energy. So when you're working with people, they don't even know what's available. Sometimes they're like, they have an idea of what they want healed. And now it's a matter of how you're going to get there.
Right.
So you're just going to, what was I saying before? Oh, so with OJ, he's crossing this line of doing deeper work with people, which is awesome. And it's done. He keeps talking about it. It's done. It's just a matter of how quickly, how much.
And making space for it, right? Getting the stuff that you don't want to any longer do out of the way,
Mm-hmm.
so this can come up and out, right? Or in
It's the
essence, you're
practitioner's healing first and foremost. So he does the healing on himself to let go of worrying or to going in that direction. And therefore, he just starts doing it with people. But it starts here first.
Yeah. There's also a lot of letting go of old identities that no longer serve me, right?
Which, like,
Like being the body worker that like gets really deep on the physical level, or
in a mechanical
in a
way.
mechanical, right? Or being the provider, or being a patriarch. Because now it's like I'm taking a step back and like doing less work, and now I'm spending more time with the kids and the family, and it's like I've let go of some of the things that no longer serve me to make room, again, what Casey was saying, for other things to come into my life. So yeah, it's all about, I guess, trusting and really following your heart and your intuition.
And what you're passionate about
Yeah,
and what fits for you.
totally. So, when are the Maori coming back into town?
Why it gotta be about them? What about me? A cheese, a chopped liver. I don't know. It's a great question.
We'll let you guys know.
Like,
Yeah, if you
like,
guys want to know, reach
yeah.
out.
If you want to be put on a mailing list,
You do
you want to
that.
learn more about my work, you want to come see me, you want to be on my mailing list, I will let you know when the Maori come out. You can go to my website, haroldturk.com, HAROLDTURK, and just sign up for my emails. And when they come into town, I just do an email blast to.
But don't wait. You guys don't need to wait till the
Yeah.
Maori come to town. We have an LA-based healer who is worth coming to see.
Mm-hmm. He has a very active Instagram too, so
It's-
check that out.
Stop.
You post a lot.
Fight.
More
fight.
than we do.
Seriously?
You mean you?
More than I do.
Okay, so can you give me a second? So if you go to my Instagram, it's my name. Those are all themes that come out of sessions during the day.
Nice.
With clients or myself, those are just themes.
That makes it cooler.
Huh?
Makes it way
Well,
cooler.
I've never said that, but yeah, those are themes that come out from client sessions or myself. And so I'm just posting them. My healing, personally, I guess I'd like to share that. I'm much more of a private person. I'm very good one on one. A lot of my healing is extending my work and talking about my work. Being on this podcast is very healing for me. This is not my strength. And so, relating to Instagram and posting and things like that, is I have a lot of people that are like, Harold, you need to start practicing being more public. And so, posting on Instagram, that was just a start. But I have people that handle me and they want to push me in my healing journey, which is to be more public about what I think, what I do, doing more video, things like that. But that is not my strength. Like, but that's my healing journey, is to do that kind of work, to be more public.
Nice.
Yeah. So I can't believe you think I post a lot on Instagram. I barely do anything.
Now you got this podcast episode. You're getting
Yeah,
out
look at
there.
you.
It's happening.
Don't stop me.
It's happening. Oh, I won't. I'm getting out of the way.
Mm-hmm. TED Talk. TED Talk's next.
Harold Talk.
Harold Talk.
I don't know what I was going to say.
Toe
As
talk.
I know we're
I can see you as a guest presenter, right? Like if I could see him as a guest host
Mhm.
on The Way of Healing. I said it here first. What?
Casey, you get credit. That'd be actually, that would be a blast.
Well, when the Maori healers come in, for sure, we got to get them on here.
Yep. So that's a great comment. Ata is kind of like me. She might do it, but it's not her strength either. Like
Talking about the work,
talking about the work being
Or
public.
her own journey with it.
Yeah, it's not.
We can, yeah.
I'm not saying no to this. I'm just sharing.
Yeah.
Is there a sacred component to the work where it's like we don't talk about it?
Well, it seems like the Maori are they want to share, which is part of the reason they're traveling, right? They just want to share their work and their love and their spirit.
Well, no, he's saying a lot of Maori stay in New Zealand. Like a lot of Ewe stay in Togo.
They do, but Ata and her tribe in particular.
This is more just, I think it's just a people thing where we have areas of our life where we're just strong, right?
This sounds like a racket a little bit.
What's
You were saying something is not your strong suit.
It's a racket.
A racket's a racket, you know?
Yeah.
You hit the ball back and forth? No.
Something you
No,
tell yourself.
Right, it's something that a story that you're a story.
No.
Right?
So like for me, like I was saying, for me to physically work on people and do what I do, I'm very good at what I do. But when it comes to being in public and talking about what I do, you're going to get an entirely different Harold. Like you get me out of my house working with people. I mean, my clients see me publicly and they're like, what the fuck happened to you? I'm like,
we tried to get Harold to come to Mar Vista. He wasn't having it.
I'm like, just because I'm brilliant in my home and doing my work doesn't mean you're going to get that brilliance out in
You
public.
get weird too? I get super weird. I actually was talking about how weird I get when I went to a public event the other day, and let's wrap up and then we can continue. I'm getting weird about talking about being weird.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Well, that's an abrupt ending.
We love you, listeners.
No, this was This was great. It was just a little bit of a shift in how we approach the show.
Why?
There was a
Oh,
lot of
I gotta hear it. Come on, don't
yeah,
end
there
on
was a
that.
lot of personal stuff that Casey and I shared, and stuff that you helped facilitate and ask. And normally, it's just the healing stuff, and maybe we talk to practitioners about their healing journey and what got them into stuff. But to start diving into like
Personal.
personal shit, like that's
I think that's well. I'm happy that it went there.
oh, I like it. This was fun.
I actually think that would be really amazing. I think people want that.
I think so too.
I like that part.
What people?
That's your audience. I would want to.
I think you get that when you step through this door. Like, I don't think that,
What?
well, that's
This door?
part of your work, right? And not,
Yeah.
you're not working on us right now, but
No,
we're
it's
sharing
just the way
space.
that I am.
We're sharing space with you.
This is how you share space with people.
Right. I mean, right from the get-go, it got fiery and hot in here. It was very playful and yeah,
Intimate.
Mhm.
intimate.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's
think-
great.
you might need your own podcast.
I
I
don't
know. I was thinking that too. But you can
I mean-
start as a guest on ours.
I would like to. I would like that. No. I like the personal
The
aspect.
personal is where it's at.
Yeah. Especially of people who are doing healing work.
Mm-hmm.
People, I think, want to know maybe the evolution of it.
Yeah.
I mean, just a little teaser. I'm probably going to tease a lot, but whatever. But I mean, I could go into hours of what had me doing what I do for a living. Remember, I told you in the beginning of the podcast that I was having an anxiety attack, and I called my buddy Jeff to go
Mhm.
see that first teacher.
Did you call Jeff before we got here?
No, but there are certain things, specific things happening in my life that were hitting the fan. Shit was hitting the fan.
Mm.
And it had to do with my chiropractic license. A boss that I worked for had committed insurance fraud. And when he got busted, it dragged me into it, and I had a major meltdown, and it dragged me into it. I actually lost my license from 2003 to 2007.
Whoa.
hmm So being a chiropractor was like my identity. I was very young, and it was a boys club. I love being considered a chiropractor. No matter what I do for a living, my identity is as a chiropractor. That has changed a lot throughout the years because of what I do. But so when I was talking about having an anxiety attack, I mean, shit was hitting the fan. And so, yeah, I lost my license from 2003 to 2007. And that cathartic moment about, you should start learning this work. Well, one of the things that sort of aha moment was by the time you lose your license, you'll have learned this work just enough to start doing it for a living. And that, I was just like, whoa, who just said, what was that about?
Mhm.
So, at least for me, I'd want to know for healers, I'd want to know what got them specifically into doing this type of work, what happened in their life, what was going on, where does it come from in their past. And so, I mean, I could go into that for hours, but that was my catalyst in going to see that teacher for the first time. That's what was happening in my life. And so that period of time in my life was brutal. So 2003 to 2007. And then when I got it back in 2007, I mean, I had a lot of fear to work through because now I
Mm.
didn't want to like mess it up. So we ended on a huge teaser. I mean, I'd be happy to go into it more in the future, but I gave you that piece.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming on the show. This was fun.
I needed that, you guys. I told you that when you first walked in the door. I really needed that connection.
Yeah.
I've been working all day. That was fun. You
So-
guys are a blast.
Yeah.
Your
and
audience is very lucky to have you guys. This is a super fun podcast.
Thank you.
now they're your audience too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mm.
well,
Thank
if you invite me back.
Psh, never. Harold.
All right, guys.
Yeah, nothing short of a pleasure. Thank
Yeah,
you so
thank you,
much.
Doc.
Guys.
And thank you, listeners.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to The Way of Healing. We hope that you find yourself inspired. If you enjoyed our show, a gift is to let others know. And we want to hear from you. Please share your feedback so we know how our work is resonating. Make us aware of modalities and practitioners whom we may not know. If you haven't already, please subscribe at thewayofhealingpodcast.com. Our email is thewayofhealingpodcast@gmail.com and find us at facebook.com/thewayofhealing. Remember, a rising tide lifts all boats.